Hey there, poker friends. It's John. I played this hand last night and kind of illustrated a couple of important points. One in particular about making profitable bluffs when you should and shouldn't, and hand reading in general. I shared this with two poker friends that played 50 NL and 25 NL, and they both kind of didn't bring up an important point about this hand, so I thought this might be a great short little video. I can talk about something that should help you long term in your game if you're not already aware of it, and maybe you are, and that's great, and you're awesome. But otherwise, I think this is a pretty vital thing that should always be considering, should always uh, be a given in your poker thought process, so that you're understanding your opponent's hand range. But anyways, this hand's 100 NL four-handed. I open ace queen here, a little bit larger than maybe I typically would, 3.5 times, just because there's a fish in the big blind and he's calling, most size raises, and I'm always very particular about my raise sizing and try and get max value, even if it's an extra half big blind or full big blind. And so, anyways, I don't need to explain too much more about that. And we get 3-bet here on the button from kind of a probably bad reg. This is a 24 or 15. 3-betting at decent percent, almost 15% after 71 hands. Action folds back here, and of course we can, 4-bet. We're out of position. If I 4-bet here, I'm calling shoves. I'm not 4-betting here as a bluff. I'm 4-betting here for value. I like calling here a lot more, just keeping his weaker bluffing range in. I feel fine playing the hand out of position. This kind of depends on what you want to do. I think 4-betting here is profitable too, of course. But I'd prefer to make the hand slightly more EV for me, so I don't think I need to go on too much about that because that's not even the point of the hand. So I call, and the flop comes King Jack 8. We flop gutter ball, and we check to the 3-better, and he checks behind here. So this is the main whole point of the video right here in one quick little bit. Once your opponent, especially in a re-raise pot, checks this kind of flop here, you know that he has some kind of hand that he wants to get to showdown ideally with, or pot control, and he feels like he has a decent amount of equity there. He doesn't have a lot of bluffs in his range at this point. He has some kind of hand. If whether it be he 3-bet with like a suit, like small suited connector like 8x, or he has Jack X, or he 3-bet with some kind of weak king, king 10, maybe king 9 suited, something like that, or he has 9s, 10s, something like that he's not super confident about just betting here, because this does hit some, a good amount of my 3-bet calling range. There's not a whole lot more you can fold out. Also, extremely important is he most likely won't have a flush or a straight, because he would also bet those there, hoping that he would, fold out again my 9s, my 10s. Unlikely I'm folding out any of my, weak jacks or kings or stuff like that, but mostly 9s, 10s, and maybe some of my air that's better than his, like what I do have, ace queen, ace 10, things of that nature, like if he had 9, 10. So I don't even want to go on anymore about this, because I could talk a ton about the hand, but this is the whole point. Once this happens, and the turn rolls off here, I have a couple different options, but mainly I like betting just to control the pot size. I have a gutter ball, at least probably one overcard that's good, maybe two, and on top of that, I have some bluffing outs, which if I bet, I'm betting most rivers. I'm hoping for a club. I already have a bluffing out that hit on the turn here, even if it comes a deuce. My ideal card though, which you always want to be thinking about ahead of time, is what do I ideally want to hit on that river to turn my hand on my bluff if I don't spike my perfect card, which is obviously a 10. A 10 of a non-club 10 is my best card. But I want to know all those things beforehand, so I end up, betting roughly half pot and get called, which the river comes off, a club, which is what I want. So here you have to bet. You're not even worried about your value range for, king X, king queen, ace king, which could still be in my 3-bet flatting range, of course. Any of those types of hands, I'm not worried about my value bets as I am. I'm sizing it more to represent a flush or a straight. So, I want to go $35 plus, and I'm probably betting something like 36, 37, 38, probably somewhere around there, probably 37, 38 to fold out his 9s, his 10s, his Jack X. I'm probably not folding out his weak king often enough, but maybe a small percentage of the time, because again, he knows my bluffing range is going to be open up here. But the whole point, I don't even want to go about this anymore, is that's the ideal run out to turn that hand into a profitable hand, and you want to understand when your opponent checks the flop in that spot exactly where their range is. So, and again, one of the main points is they probably don't have draws, they don't have air, they have some kind of hand that has value. So, anyways, I hope that helps out. And again, you probably already knew all that, and I just babbled. But if not, hope you enjoyed it, and hope you can spend some time analyzing your hands and understanding your range. Like here, boom, we probably only have about 32% and no showdown value against his hand there. I need to barrel that river.